I'm in Santa Teresa County Park, which is a huge open space in San Jose, South San Jose, I meant to say. And I'm looking across into the Santa Teresa golf course, which is beautiful. I'm not very high yet. This park charges $6 to park. It's part of Santa Clara County's policy of having parks for the rich only to use. And of course, not being among the rich, it's too rich for my blood. So I'm parked on the street and I'm walking in. As you can see, it gets pretty high. And I don't know how high I will get, probably not very. But I figured I'd walk into the park until 4 o'clock and then walk back. It's now around 3:15. Just a little bit higher, but already much farther views. There's the same house we were looking at a minute ago, but at a little bit of a distance. And way across the valley, at the top of the mountain, is the Lick Observatory, one of the oldest observatories on the West Coast. Observatory meaning a telescope that studies the heavens. And this one is administered by University of California, Berkeley. That's probably at least 45 miles driving distance from here. Not sure if you can see the white dot at the top of the peak or not, but that's the observatory. Far to the west now, at least 100 yards or so far, is the golf course again. I've been walking on the bank of a canal, which looks like it's probably a drainage canal for the runoff from the mountains here. And I'm not sure this will get me very far into the park, but it's not a bad walk by itself, so I'll see how far this takes me. There's a backyard with a patio with a view, maybe I should say. A little farther on, if you can see that cement block structure in front of us, that is where the canal ends, at least at this end of the park. And there's the end of a fence and a path leading up to what looks like a paved trail, going up very steeply into the park, and I'll go as far as I can on that, with, I'm sure, lots of stops for catching my breath. This is the Santa Teresa section of San Jose, which is the southernmost heavily populated district. And the valley is rather flat, but it's surrounded by steep hills or small mountains. Approximately the center of the picture now is the San Jose Kaiser Permanente Medical Center, which is the one closest to where I live, being a Kaiser member, the one I've been to for some procedures. I have no idea what that huge building directly ahead now is. Looks like some kind of factory, but I don't recognize it. I'm now most of the way up the ascent that I showed a few minutes ago. Back there I can see a little patch of the Santa Teresa golf course. Now I'm at a junction on the trail. Mine trail, interestingly, goes that way. Not sure what kind of mine it might have been. Possibly mercury, as San Jose is famous for its mercury mines. But I didn't know that there were any in this part of the metropolitan area. Further south and more westerly was where the main ones were. So I will take the mine trail, or maybe it was saying 4/10 of a mile from that post is the mine trail. In either case, far beyond the medical center, which is in front of us now, there's a white spot that is Valley Christian High School, fairly new school, up there on a high hill, one of the few hills that's surrounded by city in San Jose. And because of its elevation, it can be seen for miles in several directions. It looks much bigger than it actually is if you drive up to it. It has probably only a couple hundred students altogether. The trail has dwindled down quite a bit in width, and now it's just mud. And right now I'm standing under a huge tree. Don't know what kind of tree it is. I would guess it was a live oak, because most of the trees that grow out like this in the countryside in California are live oaks. But I don't see any acorns under it. Maybe there's something here that eats the acorns, I don't know. The leaves don't look like oak leaves though either, but whether live oak leaves look like other oak leaves, I don't know. It kind of looks like chaparral leaves, but if chaparrals grow to be big trees like this one, that's news to me. I thought they were more like brushes, or bushes rather, bushes in the brush. That's the first other trail user I've encountered. I've seen some bicyclists on the road, the auto road, but not on the side trails so far. I'm sure there are lots of them other days, and even on this trail I even see horse hoof prints. Love the views here, and if I had brought the car in and parked it, it would have been at least 2 miles from where we are now, and I may not have even gotten these views because there were big hills between the parking lot and here. I may not have gotten over. Just turning in the other direction now. The trail goes up very steep and very quick. The second biggest ascent in a short time that I've encountered so far. Well, I'm most of the way up that slope. This is the first hike that I've recorded that didn't have a freeway close by, although across the valley there, 3, 4, 5 miles, I'm guessing, is a freeway, or maybe the junction of two freeways, 85 and 101.
Beautiful day, huh?
Really. Over there is the guardrail of the auto road coming into the park. The sun is so bright there and the shade is so deep where I am that it looks like it's being washed out pretty much on my screen. But I'm still not quite to the top of that. Well, actually I went down a little valley and then started up again. Well, apparently I've come 4/10 of a mile since the last post. And apparently I was on Mine Trail, not to be confused with Mein Kampf. And I was wrong about this peak being the place at which the trail would intersect the park highway, because that's down below us here. And way down in that valley, before the next mountain comes up, starts going up, is the day use area where you're supposed to park, and it costs $6 per day to do that. I hadn't been in this park for years, since my boys, who both now are in their mid-30s, not since they were teenagers, and we all came up here. And it cost $3 to park then, but that was only in the summertime. Now this is January, and it's on force all the time now. And even that is run by a machine. There's probably a ranger who comes by to ticket the cars that don't have paid tickets on their dashboards at least once a day. Certainly doesn't look like there are very many people using the parking lot. Most of them are probably like me, drive in, see what it costs, and drive out again. But on behalf of the county supervisors, I have to admit that they probably can't imagine anybody living in Santa Clara County being too poor to afford $6 a day to use a park. I'm sure they're all rich women with a man or two mixed in with them. And they probably assume that nobody who isn't rich could even live here. They're almost right about that. But they'd be surprised to learn what people will do to survive who aren't rich in a rich country. Rich, bankrupt country, because, as you've probably heard, nearly all the cities in California are on the brink of bankruptcy. But this is not a city park, it's a county park.